And so I want to start seated today, especially first thing in the morning when we're a little tighter, kind of haven't done much. It's really great to sit up on something. So if you had a bolster, that could be nice, or a thick cushion from the couch, a blanket or two. And of course, if you don't need one, that's fine. But as you come to your comfortable seat, a good indication that a little support might be nice is if your knees are up way high and if you're rounding in your spine, if it's really hard to sit tall. So let's cross our right shin in front of our left shin, root down into the sit bones, and let's just roll the shoulders back a few times. Ooh, might get extra cracks and crinkles here, especially if you slept weird. Good, and then just start to roll forward. And then roll back again. And then just release your shoulder blades down your back. Find a place with your hands that feels comfortable. Maybe that's fingertips on the floor. Perhaps that's hands on thighs. Feel the elbows gently squeeze in. And then close your eyes if you haven't already. Take a nice deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Do that a couple more times. So with each exhale, you're just committing to the idea that you're landing on your mat for the next hour. You're going to quiet down. You're going to pay attention to your body, to all of those sensations, how things are feeling. And then you start to find that rhythm of your jai breath. So that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Right away, just start to focus on that sound. Let it draw you inward. Try to create this symmetry of breath. So the inhale and the exhale are really nice and even. And get curious about that pause that happens at the top of the breath, that pause that happens at the bottom of the breath. It's just like the split second where there's complete stillness. Nothing's happening. Notice if any tension has crept into your body. For a lot of us, we start to tighten the inner thigh, the groin. So soften there. Notice if the shoulders have started to creep up around your ears, release them down. So sitting with some effort, efforting in the places that you need to be in this seat, but relaxing those other places. Couple more good breaths here like this, just soaking up the silence. Good, and then blink your eyes open. As you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Let's take a couple of breaths here. You can take your arms as wide as you need to so that those elbows can come to straighter and it feels like your shoulder blades can start to squeeze in towards each other. With each inhale, really lengthen through the sides of your waist. And again, find that idea of shoulders balancing over your sit bones so the spine is nice and long. And then let's exhale, extend our arms forward so our wrists are perpendicular to the shoulders. We're going to interlace our fingers. Let's put the right index and thumb on top. Press your palms forward and then activate the arms a little more. Feel the inner arm wrap towards the outer arm. It's that feeling that we get in our downward facing dog. So keep the arms as active. Let's take an inhale here. Start to stretch the arms up overhead any amount. You might not go very far. And then arch in your lumbar. As you exhale, rock to the backs of your sit bones. So come into the cat stretch. Release your arms down. Inhale, arch. So a little seated cat-cow here. Good. As you exhale, round in. One more. Inhale. Lift up. So squeeze those arms again. As you exhale, root into your sit bones. Start to side bend to the left, or the right, rather. Inhale up to center. As you exhale, you side bend to the left. Spin those left ribs up, root into the right sit bone. Good. Inhale up to center here. Exhale, we're going to release our hands out to the side and start to twist to the right. Go ahead and release your left palm to the outside of your right thigh. Right fingertips reach behind you. And with that leverage that you're creating here, just press that left shoulder head back. And then really look at what you're gazing at. So take it in, notice it. And then maybe you start to bring your gaze out over that right shoulder. You might not get all the way there, especially if there's any tension in your neck. So listen to that. Stop where you need to. Couple more good breaths, inhaling for length. As you exhale, you can empty out, twist in a little more. That might just be a thought. Good. So nice deep inhale. Exhale, start to bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. Good. Inhale, find a little side bend again to the left. Stretch that right arm up and over. And then as you exhale, release your right hand to your left knee. So our elbows are stacking on top of each other here. Exhale, round in. So a funky little cat-cow here. The arms in this configuration. Inhale, arch. Good. Exhale, round in. Inhale, arch. Chest comes forward, gaze comes forward. And then as we exhale, we round in. So you don't have to be very deep here, and it's okay to be rounding your spine. So you're in that cat stretch. Focus on letting the back of your neck lengthen and release. It feels like you're dropping your chin towards your chest a little amount. And you can even go in that direction. It's going to intensify the stretch in the back of the neck. Good. From here, inhale, come on up, uncross arms, uncross legs, give them a little shake out. And then we take that little sequence to the second side. So recross, left shin in front, and this might feel a lot different. So hips, especially side to side, there can be a pretty noticeable discrepancy. Take more height if you need to. If you need less, lose it. And then just find yourself in space here. So shoulders over sit bones root down. And then arms, wherever feels good. Close your eyes. And again, just drop into that sound of your breath. So soak up this quiet here. It's such a nice thing. We always have so much going on, so much background noise. Sometimes it's just really important to do nothing. Just listen to the breath. Maybe you're noticing your Jai breath a little more. It's starting to find that nice, beautiful, graceful rhythm. Again, be mindful that you're not gripping anywhere that you don't need to. Soften the groin, soften the face, the jaw, soften the shoulders. Good. Blink your eyes open. As you inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Breath or two here. Imagine that somebody is pulling you up by your wrist, so you're getting a little taller. Deep inhale. And then exhale, extend your arms forward. So let's cross with the left finger and thumb on top. Press your palms to face forward. Feel those inner arms wrap towards the outer arms. Find that widening across the backs of your shoulders. Good. And then we're going to come into that cat-cow again. So inhale, rock forward on your sit bones. Arms reach up overhead any amount. It doesn't have to be very far. As you exhale, pull your belly button to your back ribs. Round in. Inhale, arch. Nice. And with the arms like this, you're going to feel this in the neck and shoulders a little more. Exhale, round in. Good. Inhale, come on up. Squeeze the arms, root into your sit bones. Exhale, side bend to the left. Ooh, that feels intense. Inhale, come up to center. And then exhale, side bend to the right. Feel all that length through the left side. Inhale, come on up to center. So nice and tall. Exhale, release arms out and start to twist to the left. Right palm to left thigh. Left fingertips behind you, gently pressing your shoulder heads back. And really see if you can generate this twist from the lowermost right rib. It starts the action. And then everything else on top starts to follow along. Maybe you start to gaze out over that left shoulder or move in that direction. This side might feel different. Always making little adjustments. Inhale, find length and space. So you exhale and empty out. Maybe you twist in a little more or visualize moving in that direction. Good, deep inhale here. As you exhale, bring your gaze out over your right shoulder. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over, so side bend again. And then exhale, release left palm to right palm. Inhale, this funky little cat-cow. Exhale, round in. Good, inhale, arch. Good, exhale, round in. Inhale, arch here. Good, and then as you exhale, round in. So going for the cat stretch here, we're not trying to get a pretty forward fold. We're more trying to lengthen the back of the neck. So feel that chin release towards your chest. You can kind of squeeze in on your hands here, and that's going to take it into the shoulders a little bit, the sides of the neck. Good. As you inhale, come on up. Just release hands, and we're going to flip onto our tabletop. And you can have, if you have blocks in your practice, you can go ahead and have those set up towards the top of your mat. We might need those eventually. But let's just find some cat-cow here. So it's going to feel very freeing without all those funky arm variations. So land with your shoulders over your wrists, fingers spreading gently. Knees are underneath your hips. You can pull the belly in a little bit here as you inhale, arch into your lumbar. As you exhale, press the mat away, firm down into your shins. Let the back of your neck lengthen and release. Good, inhaling, arching. Exhaling, rounding in. Close your eyes again if they're not already. And just take several rounds here, moving with your breath. So finding a pace that feels really good in your body, letting this feel good. If you want to add some extra movement here today, feel free to do that. So sometimes circling the hips a little bit can be nice. And then switching directions, just listening to what it is that you need. Let's do a couple more rounds. Starting to find this little flow here as we begin to connect the movement with the breath. All right, so let's inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching or rounding. So we're just gonna move opposite arm and legs to some bird dogs here. So just peek down again, just make sure that shoulders are over wrists. If you're a little tighter in the shoulders, you can turn your hands out slightly. That will give you a little more space there. And then really keep your belly engaged here. You can feel the sides of the waist engaged. And then as we lift our legs up too, we're gonna keep the legs really engaged. Toes are gonna point down, hips are gonna stay even. So here we go. Helps to keep your gaze slightly in front of your fingers. As you inhale, right leg, left arm, stretch out, get long. Little tractioning. As you exhale, you release that down. Good, and then as you inhale, left leg, right arm, you can take that full inhale to come on up. Exhale, release. So back and forth like this. Let's do 3 to each side. Inhale, you lift. Good, exhale, you release down, and you're looking for lots of length here. This is definitely a little balance pose. So you're using a lot of stabilizers to keep you up. So little muscles working, which is a good thing. And just listening to that sound of your breath again. Make sure you're not holding the breath. Sometimes that happens. The next time your right leg, left arm are lifted, hold there. So lengthen out, really wrap that right hip down towards the earth. Deep inhale. Exhale, elbow and knee curl in. You can think a little cat in your thoracic. Nice, Kyla. Inhale, lengthen out. Good, exhale, curl in 2. Good, inhale, stretch out, just a little core here. Exhale, curl in 1. Good, inhale, lengthen out. Good, exhale, release that side down. Inhale, left leg, right arm, toes point down, hips squeeze in. Exhale, elbow to knee, press the mat away with that left hand. Inhale, stretch out. Good, exhale, so as you curl in, there's a little bit of that cat stretch. One more inhale, stretch out. Good, exhale, curl in. This will get you warm quick. Inhale, stretch out. Good, exhale, release down. And then from here, let's walk our hands a couple inches forward. And then shift shoulders over wrists. Keep the belly engaged. As you exhale to the count of 5, we land on our belly. Elbows bend. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tops of the feet press. So a couple of options. You either interlace your fingers at the small of your back if the shoulders are feeling open enough to do that. Otherwise, you just reach your hands by your side. You're going to get that same feeling. So let's lower onto our forehead. Put your brain in your feet. You're pressing into all 10 toenails. Feel the inner thighs spiral up. You're going to feel the glutes fire a little bit here too. That's a good thing. You're rooting down into your hip bones, into your pubic bone. As you inhale, keep anchoring into the lower body. Use that to help you extend your chest forward and then up. Notice if you throw your chin up towards the ceiling, release it down. And in fact, let's just do a little stretch here. So actually tuck your chin in towards your chest. You might come out of the back bend a little bit. That's okay. It's pretty intense, but it feels kind of nice. Activate your feet again if you've lost any of that sensation. And then just bring your gaze slightly forward. So the front of the neck is long, the back of the neck is long. If your fingers are interlaced, maybe lift the wrists up a little higher if that's available. Nice work, Kyla. As you exhale, release down here. Change the interlacing of your fingers. So palms still face towards each other. You just shift everything over one. If you're still reaching by your sides, that's perfect. Stay there. All right. So fire up the legs. Find all of that work. This time, as we inhale, we're going to lift everything up. If you go there and it's too intense on your lower back, just place the legs back down. That's always a good option. And then just kind of explore your body. Is it easier for you to lift the upper body? Is it easier for you to lift the legs? Can you really focus on lifting both equally? One more deep inhale. Good. Exhale. Release down. And then just release your hands. We're going to bend our elbows, bringing our fingertips underneath our shoulder heads. Same work happening in our feet. We just have this Bhujangasana setup, so not as big of a stretch in our shoulders. Do you want to keep the elbows squeezing in? And we're just going to move with the breath here. So inhale, chest extends forward and up. It's not a high lift. As you exhale, you lower down. Good. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, up. Let's just hold here. And again, notice if you're throwing the chin up towards the ceiling a little bit. Lower it down. Keep the elbow squeezing in. And as you do that, notice how the shoulder blades really squeeze in towards each other. And then from here, press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. And after all that back bending, it's going to feel really nice to pedal the legs back and forth. So just find any movement that feels good in your body here. And you eventually find a place of stillness. As you do that, you can, as you gaze between your feet, you just check to make sure that they're hips distance apart, second and third toe point forward. And you can always have a bend in the knees. For a lot of us, that's just like mandatory in our downward dog. It doesn't mean we're doing it wrong. It usually means that we have tighter hamstrings, tighter lumbar. So we modify, we give ourselves space. And then just peek forward really quick between your hands. Are they shoulders distance apart? Again, if you're a little tighter in the shoulders, turn your hands out slightly. And then make sure you're spreading your fingers, pressing down into all 10 knuckles. And then release the neck again so your ears are in line with your biceps. And we take a couple of breaths here. And if you're thinking, oh my God, this is really hard, you're normal, this is not an easy pose. It takes kind of years for it to get to that place. All right, so nice and easy here. Start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. And let's keep that bend in our knees. Release the head down. So just hanging here for a couple of breaths. Really try to let the back of the neck go. It's so tricky to do. Find your breath. Good, and then nice and easy, press into your feet. With that bend in your knees, slowly start to roll up to standing. And when we get all the way up, let's roll the shoulders back. Again, so I don't know about you, but mine are already starting to feel different. I'm always amazed. Just a little bit of movement goes a long way. It starts to shift how we're feeling. All right, so let's move into a few half sun salutes and then we'll start to add on from there. So again, feet about hips distance apart is a really nice stance. You're welcome to have feet closer if you feel balanced there. Do stand really tall, so feel that lengthening through the sides of your waist. Arms are just very gently externally rotated. As we inhale, stretch out and up. You can reach forward and up if you don't have space. Exhale, swan dive in, nice and graceful. Let the back of the neck lengthen. And then inhale, fingertips on the floor, or for most of us, hands on shins or thighs is going to be nice because it's going to give us more length through the sides of our waist. Elbow squeeze in, it's like a Cobra pose here. As you exhale, fold. Root into your feet, take up space as you rise up. Extended mountain pose. Exhaling, hands come together at your heart. All right, inhaling, reaching. Maybe close your eyes here if that feels good. As you exhale, fold in. You can always have a bend in your knees in these. As you inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold. Good, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's do two more. I'm not going to cue you. You can just follow along with me. Just go at your own pace. If these are a regular part of your yoga practice for you. It's okay to smile in these. Sometimes we get really serious in yoga. Good. When you're done with your second round, just pausing with your palms together at your heart. You can kind of gaze at the tips of your fingers. Check in. How does your breath feel here? Are you feeling some heat in your body? Always a good thing, especially on a Saturday morning that's a little chilly. Good. Let's release our arms by our side as we exhale. Good. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead, interlace fingers again, press palms towards the ceiling. So that same stretch that we did seated at the beginning of class. Deep inhale here, inner arm is wrapping towards outer arm. This is intense. As you exhale, side bend to the right, keep pressing evenly into both feet. Inhale up to center. And then exhale, side bend to the left. Nice work. Inhale up, release your hands. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. We're going to keep that right foot forward. Step your left foot way back. Land on that knee, pat it up if you need to. I'm going to slide onto my mat here. So you can double up your mat, you can grab a blanket. And then let's have blocks here. Potentially, you may not need them, but if you're tighter in hamstring and hip flexor, they're going to be nice. So we're going to exhale, melt that left hip down. And then inhale, pull back any amount. You might keep a deep bend in that right knee. Exhale, sink in. Big hip flexor stretch. It feels great. Inhale, get into that hamstring. Let's do a couple more and then we'll hold each one. So exhaling, coming on in. Inhaling into your half splits. Good. And then let's exhale in here and take a few breaths. So just if you need to, if you're a little more open, you can slide that back knee a little further back. That will intensify the stretch. And of course, you might not be on blocks. Fingertips could be on the floor. You could change the height of your block if you want to get in a little deeper there. Send your breath to the top of that left thigh. This is an intense stretch, big muscles attaching here. Okay, so we're going to shift back. So right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. So hips are pointing the same direction. For those of us that are really tight in the hamstring, the hands might come back quite a bit and you'll just have fingertips on the blocks. Flex that right foot. If you're a little more open, maybe you start to take this in to a forward fold so you can walk your hands forward. Keep that idea of the sternum lifting a little bit though. So there's a little back bend here. These look good. Little bend in that right knee too. If that hamstring is really tight, it's a really big muscle, especially in the early morning. It talks to us a little more. All right, so let's rock forward here. Bring your hands up to your front thigh. And this especially, you're gonna notice if you're too narrow with your feet, so feet hips distance apart, direct elbow down, inhale, arms reach up, and let's bring our right fingertips to our left wrist, pull up, squeeze this right hip in a lot as you start to side bend to the right. Feel your shoulder blades release down your back. Maybe start to turn your gaze up underneath that top arm. Inhale, up to center. Good work. As we exhale, we're gonna plant our palms, curl those left toes under. Keep your gaze forward. See if you can keep your hips this low as you step to a quick little plank pose. Come to your knees, shift forward, lower halfway, hover, and then onto your belly, tops of the feet press. Inhale into your low cobra. As you exhale, press to tabletop. Curl toes under, direct your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. So lower onto your right knee, feet hips distance apart, left knee is over that left ankle. And then have your blocks here, so any height, and we just flow into this a little bit, which I think is nice. It makes the holds a little easier. So exhale, melt in. Inhale, pull back. It doesn't have to be very deep here. So we're just kind of warming this action up. So you're moving with the breath, just taking your time. A couple more, exhale. Maybe observing already, does this side feel a little different in your body? Good, let's do one more little flow here. And then the next time you exhale, come on in, start to sink that right hip down towards the earth. Oof. Maybe you need to go higher with the blocks. Maybe you go lower or lose them. Maybe you slide that right knee back a little further if you need some more. Most of us are probably thinking, I don't need more in this. I'm feeling it. Couple more breaths. Just breathe into that space on the top of that right thigh. And then we start to inhale, transition back into our half splits. So again, walk the blocks back as far as you need to. So hips are basically landing over this right knee. We're gonna flex this left foot. And in addition to feeling it in the hamstring, you're gonna feel it in the glute, hip area. You might even be feeling it in the calf potentially. If you've got a little more, perhaps you start to walk hands forward. So you're finding a little forward fold over this leg. No need to go there. This stretch is pretty intense in and of itself. Keep breathing. Good work. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's rock forward. Bring your hands up to your left thigh. Check to make sure that you're on train tracks, not a balance beam. Direct your tailbone down. Inhale, feel those outer hips squeeze in towards each other, giving you lots of support. Good, left fingertips come to your right wrist, pull up. And then side bend to the left. Keep squeezing that right hip in. Roll those left ribs up. Maybe you start to gaze up underneath that top arm, any amount. Beautiful work. Inhale, up to center. Nice. As you exhale, hands come down. We plant our palms. Curl, right toes under. We're going to step our right foot to meet our left foot as we exhale. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good, inhaling, reaching. Okay, let's stay here. Interlace your fingers the way that feels funny. Press palms up towards the ceiling. Hopefully this action is starting to feel a little easier. Deep inhale. Exhale, side bend to the left. Ooh, outer hip squeeze in. Inhale up. As you exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale up to center, release hands. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Left foot stays forward this time, so step the right foot way back. Land on that knee. Right away, inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. Good, or low crescent here. And then as we exhale, we're going to do cactus arms. So kind of press the elbows back, feel your shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. We're going to do some flies here. So I want you to imagine that you're just moving through like quicksand, so thick mud. As you exhale, activate the muscles, move slow. Give yourself a little self-resistance. Same thing as you inhale, open up. Good, exhale, squeeze in. Fire up those arm muscles, inhale up. Use the outer hips too as you exhale, squeeze in. And then as you inhale, reach down and then up. Nice work. As you exhale, hands are going to come down to the mat. Curl your right toes under. Gaze forward. Keep hips this low. Quick little plank. Come to knees. Lower, halfway, pause. And then onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra, elbow squeeze in. Exhale. Press to your tabletop, curl toes under, sit bones stretch up towards the ceiling. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your left knee. So hands up to this right thigh. Adjust that right foot over if you need to. Inhale, low crescent pose. And then exhale, cactus your arms. Really try to squeeze those shoulder blades in towards each other on the center of your back. Nice and slow. Give yourself some resistance. Fire up the muscles. Exhale. Press in. Good. Inhale, open up. As you exhale, find that fly. Good. Inhale, open up. One more. Good. As you exhale, squeeze in, and then inhale. Take up some space as you reach arms out and up. Gorgeous work. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Plant your palms. Left toes curl under. We're going to step our left foot to meet our right foot at the end of our exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good. Inhaling, reaching. Interlace fingers, press palms up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, side bend to the right. Good. Inhale up to center. Good. Exhale, side bend to the left. Is it feeling any different as we start to warm up, as we do these more? Inhale up to center. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Right foot stays forward. As you exhale, step your left foot way back. Keep those toes curled under this time. Find a little bend in that back knee, deep bend in the right knee. Inhale, rise up. Crescent pose. Good. And then as you exhale, bend a little deeper. Inhale, press legs to straight. Again, arms can be as wide as you need to so that you can bring those elbows to straight. Exhale, sink in. Keep your lower belly zipping in and up. Inhale, press legs to straight. Beautiful. One more. Exhale, sink in. Keep the right leg like this as you inhale. Maybe you straighten that back leg any amount. So starting to warm up a little bit there. And then as we exhale, hands come to the mat, gaze forward, tailbone back, step to plank, and then lower to knees, elbows bend. As you exhale, chaturanga, pause onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra, press to the outer edges of your feet. Press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under on your exhale. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. So walk it off to the left a little bit. Find a bend in your right knee. Think tailbone directing down. As you inhale, start to rise up. And then exhale, bend that back leg a little deeper. Inhale, both legs press to straight. Left hip draws back, right hip forward. Exhale, sink in, nice. Inhale, press legs to straight. Hello, legs. Exhale, sink in. And then maybe as you inhale, start to straighten that back leg. So we've warmed up this hip flexor a lot. So this should feel pretty nice, nice-ish. Let's see. Bring your palms to press together if that is accessible in your body. Gaze up. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Second side, inhale, arms reach. Interlace fingers, go the way that feels funny. Press palms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, side bend left. Good, inhale up to center. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, come up to center, release palms. As you exhale, fold on in here. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, left foot stays forward this time. Reach that right foot way back. And then you're probably gonna wanna have blocks here. So we are going to keep those right toes curled under. We're gonna kind of come into a little modified pyramid pose here. I want you to start to straighten that left leg rather. And you're really drawing this left hip back, right hip comes forward. Blocks are nice here. So this is an intense hamstring stretch. Keep reaching back through that right heel. Keep extending your chest forward. So sides of the waist are nice and long. So the blocks are good here. You can also have a little bend in that left knee. That's going to take some of the intensity out, especially if you're particularly tight in the hamstrings. Are you still breathing? Keep that breath moving. Good. So from here, just check to see that right wrist is underneath right shoulder. You're going to take your left thumb to that left hip crease, gently pull back, and then point your elbow up towards the ceiling. And then just start to twist here. So wrapping that lowermost right rib up towards the ceiling. Fire up that right leg. Keep it really active. Feel the front of the thigh press to the back of the thigh. Maybe you extend that top arm up. Not necessary to do that. You could just stay here with elbow kind of pressing back. So finding this twisted triangle, this modified twisted triangle. Deep inhale. Good work. Exhale, release. Start to bend that left knee. Palms plant, gaze forward. Stretch back through that right heel. Bring the left foot to meet it. Inhale. Exhale, come to knees, lower chaturanga. And then onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. As you exhale, press to tabletop, curl toes under, downward facing dog. We're almost there. As you inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Then again, just find those blocks. Make sure you're not on a tightrope, so feet hips distance apart. Reach back through that left heel. As you do that, start to draw the right hip back as you begin to straighten that front leg any amount. And you don't have to be folding in very deep here. I think it's kind of nice actually in this variation to just keep the sides of your waist nice and long. It's kind of that half forward fold feeling we have in our sun salutes. How is this side different? And it's hard to keep that back leg active here because all of the sensation goes into the front leg. So again, press vigorously back into that left heel. Just imagine that you're pressing that heel to the wall. Couple more breaths. And then we're going to take this into our little twist. Wringing everything out. Okay, so do make sure that left shoulder is over left wrist. Right thumb comes to that right hip crease. You can kind of pull back, squeeze the elbow in, lift that shoulder up. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale from that lowermost left rib, start to spin to the right. Maybe you just stay here like this. Maybe you start to extend that top arm up. Make sure you're not leaning it back too much. So shoulders stack on top of each other. Breath smooth and steady. Beautiful, Kyla. Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. So you can just bend that right knee. As you exhale, step left foot to meet right foot. Inhale, chest extends. As we exhale, we hinge forward, fold in. And then press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As we exhale, hands come together at the heart. So let's make our way onto our backs for a little back bending there. And have a block handy. So we'll do a few active ones and then we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. But just rolling onto your back here. So setting up with feet hips distance apart, outer edges of the feet are parallel with the outer edges of the mat. We want to have knees over heels. Sometimes we get the heels in really close to the booty. Sometimes we're even directed to do that. I don't think it's great. I think if you tend to be a little tighter in the quadriceps, hamstrings, even the knees, it just doesn't give you enough space to find some ease in this pose. So give yourself a little room. And then just release your arms by your side. And as you're just here naturally, notice how there is this slight curve in your lumbar. So it feels pretty good, pretty easy. So let's take an inhale, and you're really feeling that. But then as you exhale, start to direct your tailbone forward. So you start to lose that curve. You press into your feet, lift your hips up. Inner thighs are spiraling down, outer hips squeeze in. As you exhale, lower. And then inhale, just feel that natural curve in your lumbar. Exhale, start to roll your tailbone forward. Using that exhale, press into your feet, lift your hips up. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, natural curve in your spine. Exhale, start to lose that curve. Direct your tailbone forward, press into your feet, lift hips. We're gonna stay here. So a couple of options. If you're tighter in your shoulders, you're gonna grab the outer edges of your mat, snuggle your shoulders underneath you. You can also interlace your fingers underneath you. So this is like that Shavasana pose that we did on our belly. Same idea applies. Just roll the shoulders under. And then notice what's going on in your feet. So kind of engage that idea of proprioception. Where am I in space? You can't see them, but feel it. Are you rolling to the outer edges of your feet? So your knees kind of splaying out, squeeze them in. Direct your tailbone forward. Feel the inner thigh release down. And then as you inhale, there's a sensation that your chest is moving towards your chin. Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, slowly release. Good, take a couple of breaths here. So let's come into another variation here. So we're gonna do our robot arms before we come on up. So you're just gonna bend your elbows, fingertips point up towards the ceiling. So you have the top of the arm really pressing down. I want you to fire that up. And then maybe as you press down into your elbows again, before we even come up, you can slide your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. That's gonna actually increase the arch that you're feeling in your lumbar. So just notice that. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, firm into those upper arms. Start to direct your tailbone forward. Lose that arch. Press into your feet. Lift up. And then maybe snuggle. Shoulders underneath you again. Sometimes I find this variation gives you a little more length through the back of your neck, a little more space there. So observe if that's happening for you. And then just enjoy the expansiveness of the breath in this pose. You feel it in the front of the body, the sides of the body, the back of the body. And then as you exhale, everything contracts in. And important in this pose, just to keep your gaze up towards the ceiling. So a lot of pressure on the neck here. So we don't want to do side to side looking. One more deep inhale. Exhale, lower down. And we're going to come into our supported bridge pose here. So depending upon how flexible your back is, you might want to stack 2 blocks on top of each other, if that works for you. Otherwise, you can just do 1 block, and I would suggest the lowest or the medium height. So same setup. You're going to press into your feet. Slide that block underneath your sacrum. So the tendency sometimes is to have that block too close to the shoulders, so it comes into the lumbar spine. It feels really uncomfortable. So you want to find that sweet spot. So blocks go closer to your heels, and then you can slide your shoulders underneath you here. And just because this is more of a passive back bend, more of a restorative bridge pose, do keep your brain in your feet. So we don't want the knees to splay out. All right, so knees are right above ankles. You're finding Tadasana in your feet. Those arches are engaged and lifted ever so gently. We're going to be here a moment or two. So you can close your eyes if that feels good. Just soak up the quiet here in this pose. Let's take 4 more good breaths. Good. As you inhale, you're going to press into your feet. Lift the hips up off the blocks. Just move them off to one side. Lower on down, nice and easy. And then we're going to keep rooting down into that left foot. You're just going to take your right ankle, cross it above your left knee. Flex the foot a lot. And then take your right hand into that right thigh. Gently press forward. So a lot of sensation here in the outer hip. We didn't do tons of hip work today. So this might feel like a good place for you to stay. This might be plenty. If you do feel like you have a little more space, begin to bend your left knee in. Reach your right hand through that triangle you've made with your legs. Interlace fingers either around that left thigh or left shin. So you can gently squeeze that left shin in. Again, this might be enough. If you want a little more, press your right elbow into that right thigh. So leg draws in, left leg draws in, right leg presses out, kind of using your arm to help you find that. Breath smooth and steady. And you've probably noticed that your breath has started to just shift a little bit. The inhale is getting a little longer. The exhale is getting a little longer. Good, nice deep inhale. Exhale, if you squeeze that left knee in, release. Stay here like this. So right ankle still crossed above left knee. Take your arms out in a T shape. Then we're going to start to roll to the outer edge of that left foot, and you're going to stamp your right foot into the floor. So funky little twist here. I like it. It feels kind of good in lower right back, even the front of the leg a little bit. You might start to roll onto your right cheek, gazing out over your left or right fingertips. What is my left? What is my right? Oh, the risks of being a yoga teacher. Good. One more deep inhale. Full, complete exhale. And then inhale. Up to center, uncross that right ankle. You can bring your arms back by your side. Left ankle crosses above your right knee. Ooh, this is my tight side. So again, you just being here like this might be plenty. If you want to take your left hand into that thigh, just gently press forward. That's going to intensify the stretch a little bit. And maybe you stay here like this. If you're getting the stretch, this is a good place to be. If you need a little more, so women tend to be a little more flexible in the hips, so you can bend that right knee in, interlacing fingers either around the thigh or the shin, and then maybe wedging your left elbow into that left thigh, just pressing forward. So you kind of have opposite actions happening here. Arms are helping to squeeze that right shin in, but then that left elbow presses that left thigh out. Send your exhale to that outer left hip area, that glute. Visualize it creating some space, some ease. Breath smooth and steady, even though this is intense. Use the breath to help you be in this pose. So it's nice when we're flowing. The breath is also really important here when we're in these static poses. And for a lot of us, these static poses are really challenging. Even the stillness of these poses is really challenging. And one more deep inhale. As you exhale, if you squeeze that left knee and start to release, so legs stay like this, take your arms out in a T-shape, palms face up. Begin to roll to the outer edge of that right foot. Stamping that left foot onto the mat, either gazing straight up at the ceiling, maybe rolling onto that left cheek, and then just really see if you can see your left sit bone is going to be lifting up off the mat. But see if you can kind of just imagine it releasing down, and that might help with the stretch. You're doing that at the same time you're really pressing into that left foot. Good. As you inhale, come up to center, uncross, give the legs a little squeeze into the chest. If you want to come into a quick little happy baby, that might feel nice. So grabbing the outer edges of your feet, pulling down, or maybe the thighs. And again, in this pose, you start to lose that curve, that natural curve in your lumbar. And then you begin to make your way into your final resting pose, Shavasana. So legs extend a little wider than hips distance apart. Little support under the knees is particularly nice if there's any sensation in your lower back. Bring your arms by your side a little wider than shoulders distance apart, palms face up, and then maybe kind of snuggle your shoulders underneath here so you're getting some of that bridge pose feeling. And then completely relax. Maybe exhale, sigh the breath out through your mouth, and let that just be like a reminder to the muscles that you don't have to work right now. You let go, you melt in, you soak up these final moments of quiet. Take a deeper inhale. Open the mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Just keep your eyes closed, but begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Bring some movement back to your body. Wiggle fingers, toes, maybe circle wrists and ankles. Stretch up overhead. So anything that feels good here. Staying soft and gentle, roll to one side or the other. Find the fetal position. And then using your hands to help you press to a comfortable seat. So finding your Sukhasana again. So ending class with the same pose that we started class with. Hopefully, however, it's feeling a little different, a little easier, as though you're sitting taller. There's more space for the breath to move, and the breath is even and steady and rich. And maybe one of the biggest reasons we do our yoga practice is to kind of shift how the headspace is feeling. So check in there, notice what's going on, and hopefully it feels like you're a little calmer, quieter, a little more focused. Perhaps you're even feeling a little joy. So a lot of reasons for that. Feels good to move. It feels good to breathe. So send yourself lots of love and gratitude for doing some yoga early on a Saturday morning. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but it really does set us up for a nice weekend ahead. So enjoy that. Bring your palms together at your heart and just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today, everybody. So good to see you. Thank you.